Dear students, morning and welcome to the second lesson of English, which is about the energy in chemistry. So today we will learn more about the green energy versus the fossil fuel energy and the politics of switching from the fossil fuel, which is actually the case, to the green energies and the need to go further with the green energies, alternative and sustainable energies due to the current situation. So I will share my screen and start the class. So the class or the lesson is about the politics of energy. So this is an article that I found on Royal Society of Chemistry. So let's go and study it together. So the politics of energy. So the objectives are to learn about the fossil fuel in chemistry and the green energies. First of all, we will explore how the raw materials for energy production are linked to global politics. سوف نكتشف كيف المواد الخام للطاقة لإنتاج الطاقة هي عندها علاقة مباشرة مع القوانين الدولية. Second, we will revisit organic chemistry concepts in a new context. سوف نعيد اكتشاف the organic chemistry يعني الكيمياء العضوية خلال بضع كلمات المفتاحية إلى آخره. Introduction. The Education in Chemistry article, Energy Boost, which we will see in a few minutes, tells us how global politics affect energy supplies in Europe and how conflict could speed up the development of green energy. Use the structured strip to summarize the key ideas from the article and revisit some organic chemistry in this new context. سوف نتطرق إلى الكيمياء العضوية أو التربية في الكيمياء عامة، وسوف نرى كيف القوانين العالمية في إنتاج الطاقة في أوروبا وكيف الحروب ممكن أن تغير نظرة العالم لإنتاج الطاقة وتعطي إحساس بالحاجة الماسة للطاقة الحاجة الماسة لإنتاج طاقة من مصادر صديقة للبيئة. Instructions. Stick the structure strip in the margin of your exercise book paper and follow the questions to write your summary. Take care to write in full sentences describing this question within your answer and using appropriate keywords. There are some suggestions below to help you. سوف نتعلم كيف on va structurer كيفاش نقدر نديرو how to synthesize our answers about the question in the exercise باستعمال or using these keywords يعني الكلمات المفتاحية الآتية. بضع أمثلة عندنا the fossil fuels اللي هي الوقود الأحفوري. green energy يعني الطاقة الخضراء يعني صديقة البيئة. alkanes هما لي الألكانات. homologous series. greenhouse gases. insulating. greenhouse gases هما غازات الاحتباس الحراري. insulating. climate change. digester. climate change for example هي تغير المناخ. digester هي الهضم الحيوي. anaerobic يعني الهضم الحيوي الذي يكون في بيئة خالية من الأكسجين يعني التخمر anaerobic. national grid. net zero emissions. renewable resources. So the student sheets, we have some structure strip, some questions that you have to answer, but after reading the text. We will read the text, the article together. We will understand the context. After that, we will go to, we will try to answer to these questions using these structure strips. The first question is why has the war in Ukraine highlighted the need for investment in green energy? كيف استطاعت الحرب في أوكرانيا أن تقودنا إلى ضرورة الاستثمار في الطاقة المتجددة؟ Second question, what are fossil fuels and ما هو الوقود الأحفوري and why are we so reliant on them for our energy and transport needs؟ ما هو الوقود الأحفوري ولماذا نحن في حاجة ماسة لهذه الطاقة، نوع من الطاقة، من أجل إنتاج الطاقة وحاجيتنا في النقل أو التنقل أو نقل البضائع. Third question, draw the structures of the first four alkanes in the homologous series. Fourth question, how does burning fossil fuels contribute to climate change? How is farm and food waste used to generate green energy? كيف السؤال اللي قبله كيف تساهم الطاقة الأحفورية في تغير المناخ؟ يعني كيف تتسبب الطاقة الأحفورية أو fossil fuel في تغيير المناخ؟ And how is farm and food waste used to generate green energy؟ كيف يمكن إنتاج الطاقة باستعمال النفايات الأرضية ونفايات الفلاحة، كيف نستخدم هذا النوع من النفايات في إنتاج الطاقة؟ What promises and progress have the UK and Ireland made concerning greenhouse emissions؟ ما هي الوعود التي قامت بها بريطانيا وإيرلندا في المكافحة ضد غازات الاحتباس الحراري؟ The final question is, what is the best way to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels؟ ما هي أحسن طريقة لتنقيص أو لإنقاص لإنقاص حاجتنا أو الارتباط الكبير بالطاقات الوقود الأحفوري؟ So, the politics of energy, this is an extract from the Education in Chemistry article Energy Boost, summarize the key ideas from the article using the structure strip. هذا ملخص Education Chemistry article يعني مقال في Energy Boost written by Andy Extensi and Abigail Pinchbeck. مكتوب بقلم Andy Extensi and Abigail Pinchbeck. Let's start the article. Let's read it together. On 24th February 2022, while we watched in shock as Russia invaded Ukraine, we may not have expected the skyrocketing fossil fuel prices that followed. That day, the price of natural gas rose by more than half in Europe. Crude oil prices rose about $100 per barrel for the first time since 2014. The war in Ukraine raised the question of whether moral judgments should be made about where we buy energy from. In 2019, the European Union got 43% of its gas and over a quarter of its oil from Russia. Many countries have now imposed sanctions on Russia as financial penalties for invading Ukraine. The US and UK quickly banned Russia oil and gas imports. The resulting energy price crisis might push us towards a cheaper, cleaner, less problematic energy supply. Fossil fuels come from the fossilized remains of plants and animals that died millions of years ago. Many of us heat our homes and cook our food using natural gas. This is a mixture of small carbon-based molecules, mostly methane, with smaller amounts of other gases, the most common being ethane, propane, and butane. We rely on natural gas so much because its cost per unit of energy is just a quarter of that of the electricity we use. Most vehicles still run on products found in crude oil. Crude oil is a much more complex mixture of hydrocarbons than natural gas. Chemical companies use fractional distillation to separate crude oil into smaller, more useful parts. The process separates fractions based on their different molecular weights and boiling points. Large molecules stay at the bottom. Large molecules stay at the bottom of the fractionating column where it is hottest, going into products like heavy fuel oil. Moving upwards, fractions move from diesel to kerosene to petrol, each containing progressively smaller molecules with lower boiling points. Some power plants use heavy fuel oil to produce electricity. Burning the molecules releases the energy they have held for millions of years. From crisis to opportunity. من crisis يعني من المشكل من الأزمة إلى opportunities يعني opportunity إلى الفرص من الأزمة إلى الفرص. However, burning fossil fuels also produces water, vapor, and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that acts as an insulating blanket in the Earth's atmosphere. It retains energy that the Earth has absorbed from the sun and then emitted again as infrared radiation. This warms the planet and is leading to dangerous climate change. In 2020, the UK and Ireland used 1.3 billion barrels of oil per day. In the same year, they consumed a total of 77.8 billion cubic meters of natural gas, accounting for around 1/50th of the world's total consumption, which is very huge. Sanctions on Russia could have long-term positive effects on the move to renewable energy resources or sources. Creating renewable energy infrastructure only leads to small amounts of greenhouse gas emissions. They then generate many times more electricity than is used in their manufacture without any emissions, with a minimal contribution to the greenhouse effects. Recognition of the climate change threat has seen countries increasingly adopt such clean energy sources. For example, on 7 June 2017, for the first time ever, the UK generated more electricity from renewable sources than fossil fuels. The UK and Ireland have both made promises for their greenhouse gas emissions to reach net zero by 2050 or 2050. This means that any emissions will be balanced out by efforts to remove greenhouse gases already in the atmosphere. As such, electricity will have to come from renewable carbon-neutral sources instead of from oil and gas. UK renewable electricity generation has doubled since 2014. It currently stands at nearly half of overall output, so there is still a way to go. Realistic solutions. Renewable sites can be built quickly. in months for solar farms and perhaps a year of wind turbines built on land. This has helped the UK build over 11,000 wind turbines, fulfilling around a quarter of the nation's electricity needs. There are enough onshore wind and solar projects with planning permission in the UK to offset more than the gas currently imported from Russia. Renewables are a key part of reducing reliance on gas power. Renewable energy sites have also become cheaper than fossil fuel electricity generation plants. In the last decade, renewable costs have plummeted with onshore wind and solar power now the cheapest forms of energy. However, it's still more expensive to cook and heat homes with electricity than gas. That's why energy companies are looking to produce methane from biological sources. Microbes turn farm, food, and landfill waste into green gas in closed containers called digesters, without air, so in the absence of oxygen. For this reason, the process is called anaerobic digestion. Green Energy UK puts the gas into the same national grid that fossil-based natural gas flows through. While not much demand can be met using green gas, it is cleaner and less problematic than buying from countries like Russia. Such renewable energy technologies could solve many of the current energy problems, yet there are some things we can each do to make a difference. The best way to cut our reliance on expensive fossil fuels is simply to reduce the amount of energy we use daily. For example, turning down thermostat, working from home more, riding on public transport, walking more and driving slower. UK-based low-carbon energy consultant Element Energy found that if everyone in the UK decreased their room temperature by just 1 degree Celsius, we would prevent 1.18 million tons of carbon dioxide emission annually. So, after reading the text, we will go to the learning objectives. As we said, the learning objective at the beginning of the lesson or the class are, first of all, to explore how the raw materials of energy production are linked to global politics. Two, to revisit organic chemistry concepts in a new context. Introduction, how or this research helps students to revisit some key topics of organic chemistry and atmospheric chemistry within a new context, which is the energy context. So how to use the article or the text. Some of the language in the accompanying article may be difficult for learners with a reading age below their actual age. In this situation, the resource is recommended as a whole class activity. This will give learners the support they may need to access the text, as well as a good environment for concentrating on writing at length. Ask your learners to read the whole text. So you can read the whole text. You have the PDF document. So read again and again a text and try to understand the terms and words which are difficult for you to try to answer to the questions. And you will find a proposition or a model of answers for those questions at the end of the class. These are model answers. The first question was, why has the war in Ukraine highlighted the need for investment in green energy? So the answer is, in 2019, Europe got 40% of its gas and a quarter of its oil from Russia. Many countries have now imposed sanctions on Russia as financial penalties for invading Ukraine. The US and UK quickly banned Russia oil and gas imports. So this is an answer that I found in the text. So go on the text, read it again, and try to answer for the others questions, because all the answers are in the text or in the article below. And same thing for the other questions. Let's go now and watch a video about the comparison or the difference and perspectives in use of fossil fuel versus the green energy.
Fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and natural gas, have long been the primary source of energy for the world. However, they are finite resources, and their extraction, transportation, and use have significant environmental and social impacts. On the other hand, renewable energy, such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, offers a sustainable alternative that can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and create jobs. In this video, we will examine the differences between fossil fuels and renewable energy, their benefits and drawbacks, and their impact on the environment and society. We will also provide information on what individuals can do to help promote the adoption of renewable energy. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are organic substances that are formed from the remains of plants and animals that died millions of years ago. They are non-renewable resources and are finite in supply. Fossil fuels are typically extracted from the earth through mining, drilling, or fracking. The most commonly used fossil fuels are coal, oil, and natural gas. How are fossil fuels used? Fossil fuels are used in a variety of ways, including transportation, electricity generation, and heating. In transportation, gasoline and diesel fuels power cars, trucks, and airplanes. In electricity generation, coal, oil, and natural gas are burned to produce steam, which drives turbines that generate electricity. In heating, fossil fuels are burned to heat buildings and water. The environmental impact of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels have significant environmental impacts. Burning fossil fuels releases large amounts of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere, which contributes to climate change. Fossil fuel extraction and transportation can also have detrimental effects on the environment, such as oil spills and damage to natural habitats. What is renewable energy? Renewable energy is energy that is generated from natural sources that are replenished over time, such as sunlight, wind, and water. Unlike fossil fuels, renewable energy sources are sustainable and do not contribute to climate change. How is renewable energy used? Renewable energy is used in a variety of ways, including electricity generation, heating, and transportation. Solar panels and wind turbines are used to generate electricity, and geothermal heat pumps are used for heating. In transportation, electric vehicles powered by renewable energy sources are becoming increasingly popular. The environmental benefits of renewable energy. Renewable energy has numerous environmental benefits. Unlike fossil fuels, renewable energy sources do not emit greenhouse gases or other pollutants that harm air quality. Renewable energy also has a lower impact on natural habitats and ecosystems than fossil fuel extraction. The economic benefits of renewable energy. Renewable energy can also have significant economic benefits. It can create new jobs in the manufacturing, installation, and maintenance of renewable energy technologies. Additionally, renewable energy can reduce energy costs for consumers and decrease dependence on foreign oil. The drawbacks of renewable energy. Despite its benefits, renewable energy also has drawbacks. The upfront costs of installing renewable energy systems can be expensive, and some renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar, are dependent on weather conditions. Additionally, the development of renewable energy infrastructure can have impacts on natural habitats and ecosystems. Wind turbines have been known to cause bird and bat fatalities, although the extent of these impacts varies depending on the location of the turbines and the species present in the area. Efforts are being made to mitigate these impacts, such as through the development of more bird-friendly turbine designs and careful siting of turbines away from important bird and bat habitats. The future of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are still the dominant source of energy globally, but their use is expected to decline in the coming decades. As concerns about climate change grow and renewable energy becomes more affordable, many countries are setting targets for reducing their dependence on fossil fuels. The future of renewable energy. The future of renewable energy is bright, with increasing investment in research and development and declining costs for renewable energy technologies. Some countries, such as Denmark and Costa Rica, have already achieved high levels of renewable energy adoption, and many others are following suit. Donating to support renewable energy. Individuals can also take action to support the development of renewable energy sources by making donations to organizations that work towards this goal. Here are a few options. Renewable World. This organization works to provide access to renewable energy in developing countries. They focus on bringing affordable and sustainable energy solutions to communities that lack access to electricity. Natural Resources Defense Council, and work to educate the public about the benefits of clean energy. By supporting these organizations, individuals can contribute to the development of renewable to encourage the adoption of renewable energy. In the United States, the federal government offers a tax credit for residential solar installations and a production tax credit for wind energy. Many states also have their own incentives for renewable energy adoption. The role of technology in the transition. Advancements in technology are also crucial to the transition to renewable energy. Research and development in areas such as energy storage, solar panel efficiency, and wind turbine design are key to making renewable energy more accessible and affordable. Many companies and institutions are investing heavily in research and development in this field, with the aim of making renewable energy a viable option for everyone. Energy security and independence. Another benefit of renewable energy is increased energy security and independence. Many countries rely heavily on imported fossil fuels, which can leave them vulnerable to supply disruptions and price fluctuations. By investing in domestic renewable energy sources, countries can reduce their reliance on imported fuels and increase their energy independence. The human cost of fossil fuels. The production and use of fossil fuels have significant human costs, particularly in terms of health and safety. Workers in the fossil fuel industry are exposed to dangerous working conditions and toxic chemicals, and nearby communities may be exposed to air and water pollution. In contrast, renewable energy technologies are much safer for workers and have much lower impacts on nearby communities. Environmental justice and equity. Fossil fuel production and use disproportionately affect low-income and minority communities, which are often located near fossil fuel extraction sites and power plants. The transition to renewable energy can help to address environmental justice and equity issues by reducing the impacts of energy production on these communities.
So, as we saw in the video, the fossil fuel energy is the dominant in the global market, but it is going to decline in the very near or the very future decades. So the future of the renewable energies is brighter because it's safer and it keeps our environment cleaner. It's very it's energy's friend to environment and to nature, and we can be more autonomous and more independent in producing our own energy. and we can save the environment, save money, and participate in environment protection. So I hope you have learned a little about green energies and fossil fuel energy. So don't hesitate to go to the class, to the documents, and to read the text, and to try to answer by yourself to the questions, and to exercise more in this field of chemistry. So thank you so much, and I will meet you in next class. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.